Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In today's video we're going to be having a look at this beautiful machine sent in to have a look at from Punch Technology. This thing is an absolute powerhouse and the case is absolutely amazing. It's surely one of a kind, and believe it or not, there is an actual ATX motherboard inside this tiny little thing, and I tell you what, it is really worth the money. So let's take a look a bit closer. Okay, so what we have inside this beautiful machine is an Intel i7-8700K at clock speeds of 3.7 GHz and a 4.7 boost clock, sitting on an MSI Z370A Pro motherboard with a Zotac GTX 1060 6GB mini version. It also has 16 GB of DDR4 to 66 crucial memory, a 240 GB ADATA SX8200 NVMe.M.2 drive for the boot drive, which is blisteringly fast. We've already taken a look at this in the past. A 2 TB Seagate Barracuda, a 500 watt power supply, which is 80 plus certified, a PCIe wireless LAN card, and also comes with Windows 10 Home Edition. And all of this, well, it obviously pre-built, comes to $1,299.95. Well, sometimes I would say for you to completely avoid pre-built systems, because normally you do get your eyes clawed out. But I have actually worked all of this out over a parts picker, and to have this completely built like you see it now only costs you, okay, £211 in plus VAT, which that, to be fair, I personally think is a very, very good price, considering you normally go to some of its other competitors and you pay anything from £400 to £500 for them to build it for you. So this is actually quite a bargain and seriously packs one heck of a punch. So let's take a look at how it performs. So first of all, we decided to benchmark with Cinebench, and the CPU scored 1421, which is absolutely brilliant. And OpenGL scored 131.97 frames per second. So yeah, this is seriously packing some punch. So let's jump over to TimeSpy and see how that did. Well, that did actually score an impressive 4,245. So yeah, this is actually looking even better and better every time. Then we moved on to Unigine Heaven, which got a lovely score of frames per second of an average 108.2, scoring 2,726, which in my personal experience so far is pretty impressive. Now moving on to user benchmarks, the gaming got 73%, the desktop 90%, and the workstation of 84%, which, to be honest, this is really, really good and very, very impressive. So as you can see from the synthetic benchmarks, this is really, really impressive. But how does it actually perform in real life scenarios? You know, this thing is actually built for esports and 1080p gaming, so I decided to put all of the settings up to max on 1080p, obviously recording through the software of the computer, so you are going to be losing a little bit of performance there. But how did it perform even doing that? Well, CSGO was no surprise to me when I saw 230 to maybe 250 frames per second. It ran super silky smooth, and it was just fantastic. It made the gaming experience just that extra bit better. So jumping over to Formula 1 2015, and this scored a huge 100 to 120 frames per second. The level of detail in this game is absolutely fantastic, and it just ran buttery smooth. No surprise that Fortnite hit 70 to 90 frames per second. You know, this would be absolutely ideal for going online and streaming. If this was the sole purpose you bought this PC, you could probably expect a frame drop of 5 maybe to 10 frames per second if you were to actually streaming, but anything over 60, especially 1080p, is ideal. So moving on to Forza Motorsport 6 Apex. It is on an auto lock, so it does automatically hang around the 60 frames per second, which it did absolutely perfectly. No lag spikes or anything which you tend to see in a lot of racing games, but none of that. It was just super smooth sailing. So onto Minecraft Windows 10 Edition. Again, this game is locked to an automatic 60 frames per second, which it hit, not a problem. I didn't have any worries about that. So here's the biggie, PUBG. This thing is renowned for being so poorly optimized up until recently. So it did come a little bit of a surprise when it was hitting between 80 and 100 frames per second. And yes, like I said, this is fully maxed out on 1080p, and it was still hitting above 80 to 100 frames per second. This thing really is phenomenal. So now on to Rocket League, which has now become one of my favourite games of all time. The actual picture quality is absolutely amazing, and it was hitting well above 180 to 200. It was even hitting well above the 200 at times, but every time I seemed to look at the screen, it tended to hit around the 180 to 200. So I think it's probably safe to say that that's probably the average, to be fair. So there you have it, guys. This thing is worth every single penny. Not just for the looks, take away this blue plastic. They did tell me I could take it off, but I didn't want to risk it for scratching the glass or anything like that. But aesthetically, the PC is absolutely stunning. I'm sure you'd agree about that. And the £1,300 price tag, I would probably say it is definitely worth it, to be fair. Absolutely brilliant. So if you want to go ahead and buy this computer, the link will be in the description below, as always. But yeah, thank you very much for coming today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs down if you didn't. And why not subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next video. So until then, ta-da!